d'abord Dio. Bye ben Sévérin Pasibo. Bye ben Sévérin, tu as attendu ta prière et il t'a exaucé. Bienvenue, monsieur le maire. Samy Dola, mon arrangeur au cœur blanc. Maman Mariette, présidente du fan club DPS. Babo Siei Oswald, Bossi. Ah, oh, pamé, oh. Bye, c'est vrai, oh, pamé, deme, oh. What the way, oh, baby, pamé, oh. Uduenu nubu yesi, oh, pasi, pome, oh. Peo, lore, ase, oh. Capitaine Bibio, vale, ase, oh. Comité, Kimu, ase, oh. Président, Robinson, ase, oh. Président, Basio, ase, oh. Président, de Michel, ase, oh. Mama bae Dorothée ase o. Baje madame le me ose mai no po. Bado wa boju kide e mai no po. Ah o kame o. Boya boy. Avant son arrivée, il a été annoncé. Celui qui doit sauver Tiglo a été retour. Le peuple entier, tout Tiglo a été bout. Comme Jésus arrive à mes pièces, avec des faits et des développements. Il vit entre ta vérité et ma vérité, oh, il y a celle du peuple. Oh. C'est la vie Tiglo d'abord. La pierre rejetée est devenue la principale. Oh, il n'est pas même des oh. Tiglo, quand il plaît, tout le monde est assilé. Et toi, il y a pas de vie en tranquillité. Ah non, le maître de Vietnam, Tiglo d'abord. Nous sommes dans la réconciliation, dites-moi. Pour tout le monde, à faire passer réunis nous. À faire nous un péché. Pour comment les uns qui croient que les autres couillent. Ah non, le maître de Vietnam, cohésion sociale. Et maintenant, tout à son, tout à son. Comment tout à son. Il y a essaie de moi qui beau. Il y a payé lutter nos petits gosses et à débat. De développer ma nationale et des dios. Bébé, il n'y a pas mère. Ah, on y est pas tout au plus pour moi. Des mérites, nous sommes citoyens privilégiés. On se fait rien serrer nous. Ah, au point, on peut pas on dit à qui. Ah, on peut pas dire à moi, pas plater. Ya on peut plus d'adouer, on peut plater. Nous pouvons dire quoi, bien,
All right, good evening, good afternoon, folks. It's 6:22 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Alfonso Zayan, so of the Liberia Public Radio. I want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe, faking youth, neighboring La Côte d'Ivoire in the interest of African solidarity. Amandut, Mr. Wilson Boy, Joey Yones, and Brooks himself. And Yamakali, Nelson, Mary, we say good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on your location. To welcome versus Liberia Public Radio. Stay tuned.
Dimitri, Oka Sentia, merci Maman Fan Club, BBS. Amical Besager, Louis Capitaine Taï Mathieu.
And here comes Kassili Colley. Good afternoon, welcome. This is Lpr. Giving you some beautiful African dance song here this afternoon from neighboring to La Côte d'Ivoire.
Irmin Taï, Ario Manaja, Amoukas, soutien-gorge, Goudé Juliana, Pata Pata des Zouans, Aose Baye Pouo, Okera Poissomboe, Commercio Noir, Osiabo Maïo, Ao Blocondio.
All right, I told you I'm a traditionalist, and so anything that connects to traditions is part of my livelihood. Here comes Mr. Suarez himself. Good evening and good afternoon. JOT, just on time. Okay, so we want to welcome all of you here this afternoon. We want to welcome all of you here this afternoon. I'm Alfonso Zayan, of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. From the best state, the man himself, Dualo, good afternoon and welcome. Okay, good afternoon. Today is Monday, the first day of the week. We say thank you for joining us here this afternoon. I'm Afonso Zienso. I was off today, but compelling situation having to go in. That's how this country remotely to regulate your activities. And if you have some specific assigned duty, when they are not there, you gotta go in. You agree, and this is why they get a way of tying people to the tree. So most of the things that they do in this country, Duara know, all of you guys know, there's no gentleman arrangement, no gentleman conversations agree on a verbal note. They get a tendency of breaking that hell of a pie, or no, they know you're not going to go through that. So they are so smart. They will just flip those pages and I read them. Yeah, it's on here. Put X there. They will highlight it to make sure that you see it vividly. No way that you can give an excuse. So when you take on responsibility, job related, and you pen your signature, you sign, it is a total and 100% consent that yes, rain, shine, whatever, you have to go. That's what happened today. My day off. And then I don't know why I should have even woke up to look into that phone, because when you look into it now, then your own conscience, you begin to judge. Oh, that's what happened. But the good thing is, l'argent involved. It's not for you to that. I know pro bono work, so that's a good thing. I went and I got it done, and I'm about back. Well, folks, we say good evening and welcome. I'm Afonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. No gentleman agreement. I'm telling you, Dualo, this is why everything is in black and white, because when it comes tomorrow, they don't want to tell you, well, they bring that. If you don't read it, you leave your own with God. Yeah, so, and that's the beauty of this country. And I hope we're going to have this sort of system like that. Don't get disappointed tonight. I hope my guests will be here. We have to change the conversations in Liberia, and that's the quality, that's the distinction, and that's this something that's set apart on this network. We see everyone, every Liberian, short, ugly, black, big nose, big hair, whatever, should be given the opportunity to speak, and especially when necessary, not just speaking. But we think all of us, and this is why news is being made proportional to speak to issue, and that we will be able to learn from it. Well, there are some folks, well, politics is not of much, and there are some people who strongly have a convictions of being humanitarian. Sunshine, rain, keke, no keke, buy, no buy, whether they're getting paid, they're not getting paid. They do not live in the pockets of politicians to regulate and to remotely control their lifestyle. Their humanitarian blood is in them. So why can't we give time to these people to share those sort of wonderful story as to how they got to that point for someone to be inspired? I'm sick and tired with these guys, Capitol Hill. We're not saying they want, we sign they want. The people don't do they want, yeah, we do they want. But guess what? Still, they still do these things. They are like they're not in agreement, but they will take the money. And then they come to give justifications of their actions being heavily backed and supported by their sycophants, supporters, and surrogates, loyalists, or whatever they term themselves to be. Well, this gentleman, he was actually in the news industry with KMTV, but all of a sudden, I saw him, he disappeared, not disappear, but there was a different callings. The callings are Ellis Favor Devine. He has inspired a lot of young generation. His motivation, convictions is endless. I don't know whether he's taking energy 5 plus or 10 plus or logo Z, whatever it is. I have no idea. But he was honored recently, Humanitarian Award Global, most influential change maker. I don't know why we can't give these people attention. But anybody who wants to be senator, want to be representative, want to be president, then all of the cameras focus in the directions of that people. So help me God. Numerous award. There you say in that another Africa Advance Award winner there with Her Excellency, the number 2 person by virtue of the Constitution, Dr. Joy Jagbana. I wonder if you get that Jagbana name to tell her. Sir Devine receiving his award. Well, he's standing by right there in the nation's capital of the Republic of Liberia. We're going to dip into his award and the strength and convictions that is leading him the way through. I've been joined by Sir Ellis Favored Devine, most influential guy in Liberia. I don't know where this is going here, but it's good to have Sir Ellis Favored Devine Jr. My dear brother and friends, good evening and welcome on LPR.
Good evening. It's good to be here at this time. I hope I'm clear. My background is okay.
Loud and clear and everything perfect.
Okay, thank you. It's good to have you. It's good to be here. Thank you for having me, and I look forward to a great conversation as we go through. Thank you for having me.
Okay, it would be insane. It would be ridiculous for me to ask Devine to introduce. But guess what? Every day we have folks flooding in here. It would be unjust because I know, because Dwalo knows, and other folk knows, and say, oh, but you don't even get a guest chance to introduce. Introductions is a very unique thing, and that's something I find it very difficult to do because the possibility of leaving some good pieces of information that will capture the imaginations of your viewers, listeners, and those who just try to do a snippet is vital to me. So let's set the stage here. Sir Ellis Favored Devine. When I see this name here, I think it's like a British. Are you a British Liberian or what?
No, it's a conferred title. When I went Ghana, I think you put okay. Something.
All right.
That was one was cool.
Okay, so let's hear a little bit of we're gonna dive into that as we go along. Ellis Devine. Let's hear a little bit out of the house's mouth for the benefit of the listening audience, and we'll get down to the wire.
Okay. All right. So my name is Alex Favored Devine Jr., and that's my name. I was born by. The SAR was a conferred title that was given to me when in Ghana last year when the Vice President and I had the opportunity to stay on the same platform to receive an award. That's when that title was conferred on me as SAR based on the impact of what I've done. Because I received the Youth Empowerment Personality of the Year in last year when we went Ghana. So based on the fact that I was the lone young person who received that title as Youth Empowerment Personality of the Year, based on the work we've done here in Liberia. That's how the third title was conferred. And I don't take it lightly. I think that it's based on the work. I'm guided by, a philosophy that always says that when the impact of the work speaks, it attracts, and it calls you into room that you will least expect or imagine. And so every time I want to do things, I also believe that success, the word success, it is not about the amount of money you have in your bank account. Success is squarely based on the fact that you are able to find problem, you're able to identify a problem and solve the problem. People who get successful today, people who have a lot of money around the world, they got money because they're able to identify a problem in order to solve the problem. It is the solving of the problem. It is the solving component of the equation that makes the person to be successful. And I can just give two quick examples.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
And I can just give quick two examples of Mark Zuckerberg that we all talk about, even we're benefiting from here right now. The world was a boring place that people wanted to talk to one another, but no one could find a solution to how they can have a small space that everyone could come in a particular space to have conversation. Mark Zuckerberg saw that that was a problem the world was faced, and he came up with social media, specifically Facebook. Today, the guy is a multi-billionaire, and we are all benefiting from him because he saw the problem and he solved the problem. And you can talk about even Steve Jobs from a desktop computer to a laptop and to get his successful as well. So I believed strongly then, not even knowing at the time that these were people who have found solution to problem they got rich. Today, I have that same conviction that the way to be successful is to identify a problem and to solve a problem. I'm also guided by a philosophy that says that when you have something to offer your generation, the world stops to listen. And what that means is that you don't demand respect. The things you do accords respect to you. So these are things I'm guided by. Again, my name is Alex. I am a Liberian, never traveled before.
Yeah, go ahead.
I am a mentor to a lot of young people. I am a man who believe that no young person deserve to struggle. Just give them the way out. So yes, and I work for you for Change in Liberia. I'm an executive director, and I'm excited about what I do. I believe the work that I do also, it is not a job, it is a calling. I'm called to my generation to help inspire and direct young people to meet their true fulfillment. And so that's a little bit about me. And like I said again, I look forward to a great conversation along the way. More will come along the way as we go through the conversation.
Okay, there you have it. I couldn't have gone through this sort of narrative, this sort of perfect intro and all of your involvement. I would say it, big thank you. It takes very few to render that sort of ultimate sacrifice to volunteer. Like I mentioned, we want to do charity. Volunteer, that volunteer we eat. But there's a goodness, there's a beauty of it, especially for those of us that live in the West. To the extent, even if you're doing your applications, that line is there. Have you volunteered before? And so when some of us and many other people here, they are living witness, they were not bad. When they reach to that part, then they start, they all want here. Why I didn't do that? Well, it's better late than never. So more or less, we will be having a conversation here. I think we need to be finding a moment of teaching because that country there, we need to do plenty. We need to do like some sort of teaching instead of the politics, because I'm not sure what is even happening. Even though we cannot do that because those are the people that keep our belly too as well. Okay, so calling. When you say calling ordinary persons out there, well, often we hear, Pastor, I'm called to be a clergyman, I'm called to be this and that. What is the uniqueness of callings? Is there a signal? Is there some sort of indicator when this actually came to you? Because it's like putting everything else on hold and say, you know what, I'm going to render it. I'm doing this to fly the flag of my nations. I want to set an example. I want to be a role model. I want for the young generation to be focused so that society will accommodate them instead of being liability. That is huge, and it is an ultimate sacrifice. How you got to this point?
So yes, and that's a very interesting question. Especially tonight, it's going to be some kind of deep conversation. I posted something on my Twitter the last time, and I said that one of the things that God would do, he will always allow you, he will expose you to the very things that he will know that people will have to go through, and the people who you have to deal with, he will expose you to all of the challenges before he can even get you to meet those people. So when I was born, I mean, the whole war thing started and everybody, fled for the war, tried to look for life and stuff like that. My mother and myself and my father, we left from Monrovia, so we had to travel. We were in bombing, and then later on, my father passed in bombing. And then my mom and I started to take to Nimba. So went through Plum County. We stayed there for pretty much some year. My mom got a job, so she was working then, and things were better. So later on, she took sick too as well, and then she passed. So when she passed, so we had to go in Nimba, where I grew up with my uncle. So literally, my eye got open into making real farm. I mean, I'm not talking about these. I'm talking about real farm work, like farm work in Nimba. So my mom who is beyond second PS somewhere back there, scores where I play. So that's where I grew up, and I did some really, I did all the hard work you can think about. Literally, when people hear my name, Alex Devine, they think that I get probably for I'm some kind of Congo man who just fall from the sky. Yeah, we have no idea about what, but I did work. I fed trees. I jump cool. I don't know whether you ever been in interior, but in interior you can jump cool.
Don't do that kind of thing to me yet. This is a country man, real country man. The way I did, and you don't even reach it out, but not much. That tonight is all about you.
Yeah. So you have to jump cool, and you will scratch the farm. You will jump cool to fed the tree. You will jump cool to brush the farm. You jump cool to just everything because it's the easier medium that you can easily brush farm in collectively. So we jump cool did other thing. I hunt with dog. Did everything I did. So I lived like interior life. But while I was there, something happened. Hunting with dog and scratching farm and feeding tree. I just had this thought in me that this is not where I belong. There was something that said to me that this is not where I belong. So I was there. So I was hopeful. There was this thing that
let me hold you there because and it was good. I pointed this war indicator. Do you remember when that instant prompted you? This is not my location. Even though I'm a countryman son, this is my mom area. We did everything here, but now no mom, no pa. I need to get my way out here. Do you remember that time that sort of prompt came into being? It was the day in the morning.
It was just all over the place. What else in the night, in the morning? I just have this feeling that I just did not belong there. How I was going to leave from there, I had no idea. Who was going to take me from the interior, I had no idea. But I just knew that this is not where I belong.
You gotta get out.
And that thought kept me hopeful. That thought kept me, you live in how do we call it? You live in a fantasy, and that fantasy keeps you alive. You just know that sometimes you just lay down on the bed in there and you see yourself amongst people, you see yourself leading people, you see yourself, and you just smile. Yet you are in the situation, yet you have no idea how you're going to get out of it, but you just smile, you just smile, you just smile. Fast forward, grew up there. I had a big brother who later on invited me to come Ghana for a year. I came Ghana, beginning to experience a different side of life for just a year. And I went to school in Ghana, I think, for a year. There's a school called Yene. I went to that school. And later on, I left from there. I went back into the village again, started my usual work again because things went a little bad. So I went there, probably I spent an additional 4 years. Fast forward, I came on Monrovia. Yes, so one of my uncles invited me to come on Monrovia. And any young person would think that coming Monrovia now was it was everything was over. So I came on Monrovia thinking that then I have to start again with a new hustle. So I need to start.
I played called Duko, right? Dubo.
Yes, Duko. So I came to Duko now, and I had to start a new life altogether. So I have to start selling in the market. There's this big Kobacho market. Oh, I have a Kobacho market. Kobacho.
Ganaville, the one in Ganaville, or the other places?
Rare light. Yes.
What were you selling?
I was saying, so they call it used clothes, but it's called DK in Liberia, Dongafle, but it's used clothes.
Used clothes.
Right? So I have to sell them and then, raise money to be able to pay my fees because my uncle that sent for me could not, pay the fees. So, I had to pay my fees to maintain myself in school. So though I left the village, but then I have to come into a new. So these experiences over time taught me something, taught me that, and I made a vow to myself that no young person, deserve to go through what I went through. And so if I, get an opportunity to graduate and get an opportunity to become a voice, I will make sure that no young person, if I encounter a young person, I will push them. I will find opportunity for them. They don't deserve to go through any struggle of such. So I became an example. So that's why you see the work that I do, I say it's a calling, because God knew that He had a purpose. He had an assignment for me. And the assignment was that you will go through this but you will not allow anyone who you encounter to go through it. You will become that person who have an experience, and you will vow for no young person to go through that kind of thing. And you will create an opportunity for them to aspire. So that's why my kind of thing that I do here, because it was a job, by this time I quit it. Because I'm making no money from it. I'm not working. There's no salary. There is no, what we do in this country, it hasn't been budgeted for. We've argued over time. Nobody has put in a budget, and it has to be in budget, then we get money. And we have not been fortunate to get grant. So then how am I surviving and my team surviving since 2015?
You tell us
with many young people that have come through this program, which you know of some, and they are an amazing example of young people. So it means that something extraordinary has been put me through. And that thing is calling. That's what I say, it's a calling, not a job. Because what I have an assignment to my generation to make sure that the opportunity is created for them. I don't care whether someone put it in some kind of budget or not. My job is not, because it's not tied to someone putting in a national budget. I would tell them to do that. If they do that, fine, but my job is not. My job is personal. It is to meet a young person and transform the life of that young person. No young person deserves to go through any hustle, struggle, bustle. Every young person deserves equal opportunity and a greater life to live, because they have great potential.
Okay. All right. Just bear with us. I think the device. Let me just get out the screen. I saw he gets back. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Good. Okay. Wow. So, are you there? You hearing me?
Yes, I'm in.
Oh, okay. Good. All right. So, whatever ventures we all on planet Earth or whatever people embark on, it comes a time, sometime you want to surrender. Why is it going this way when it is coming from the depth of my heart to help, to make a change, to impact someone's life? As I reach that point where some days, you know what, this going is getting tough, I need to pivot. Have you come to that decision at some point in time?
No, I haven't. I mean, the reason I haven't come to that decision is because, like I mentioned, that first of all, my source, where I get my energy from, I don't get it from my strength. I don't even get it from the fact that I got one small little paper called Master BSc. I don't draw my strength from there. You know, I tell people I'm not a physical man. I'm not your ordinary man. I get strength a lot from the person who gave me the assignment, God. And so every time I get stranded, I go to him and just talk to him. He give me better idea to pursue this vision. This is not,
no,
it's not.
No holy oil.
No, I mean, the thing about it is that it's you know, Christianity is a relationship. It's not a religion. And you have to have a relationship with your maker. So it does not require water, it does not require salt. If it is something that he tells you to do, and because
okay, I think the device.
It's something that he tells you to do because.
Are you there?
If it's something that he tells you to do because you heard from me, that's cool. But the fact is, it is a relationship. So yes, it's not about the holy oil, it's just about a relationship. So sometimes when I get discouraged, of course, every human being gets discouraged at a certain point in time. But the best thing is that where you draw your strength from, if you draw your strength from the fact that you're a good proposal writer, then go and write a good proposal. If you draw your strength because you have some connection with some big people, and when you're fainting, go and call the big people. But if you draw your strength from God, that you know He inspire you, then you have to talk to Him to give you an idea. So yes, I do get discouraged at a certain point in time, but not to the point to say I'm giving up, because you know what, this is an assignment. And secondly, also that keep me moving is the team that I'm surrounded by. You see, the reason why people will fail oftentimes is when you surround yourself with the wrong team of people. The people you get around you has to own the vision.
Wrong team of people. Let's break it down here this evening. And we have the diverse group here, intellectual people who also come here to get a deeper sense of conversations in depth of it. And all of what we are talking, they are all applicable in our different lives in terms of people surrounding. That's what I try to sense out here. Wrong thing. When you say wrong thing, simplify it to the lowest here. Let's hear. What are the indicators of wrong thing?
The people who you choose to work with you, the people who are your who are part of the like your staff or your employees, you know, they have to. I have this saying. I say a vision owned is a vision sustained. If a vision is not owned by the people who are around you, that vision is not sustainable. It will break down. And that's where we are as a country. Even from national leadership, you have a leader or president who comes and a piece of paper is ready. It is just ready for the formality of it. But the person who sits as the head do not even own the vision. Where do you think that vision is going to go? And that's why I have too many papers all around the place. Vision 2030, Vision 50, this, that. Ain't nothing happening. Because the people who should own the vision, the leader first should own it, and the people who are around him or her should own the vision. And that vision becomes sustainable. So the people I'm surrounded by, I make them first of all to own the vision. They know exactly where we're going with the vision. And so when I'm fainting, they are getting stronger because I've told them this is the vision. They own the vision, so they know exactly what we're headed with the vision.
Okay.
So
yeah, those are very critical point. What is your own? Because it's kind of like landed on both sides. What is your own openness, Mr. Devine, when it comes to the people that you work with? Well, we have another group of people who wants to hear things that they love to hear. Are you open in a sense that even the people that you work with to tell you what is right, even though there might be a disagreement, but it is done in a respectful way? And do you listen, accommodate their suggestion? Because this is what other people don't do. They just want people who be like pushing their hair like some kind of billy goat. Everything sounds right, and they are unable to make good judgment. People, they rely on people to make decisions, judgment, and things like that. And it plays out in the national scene as well.
I mean, the first thing is that a leader should not be intimidated by his followers. Now, any leader that gets intimidated by his or her followers, that person isn't a leader. And so what will happen is that the person will always want to hear what he wants to hear because he has big limitations. And instead of him complementing his limitation with the people around him and knowing that he or she is a leader, and they don't do that. So I am not intimidated by my followers. And because I'm not intimidated by my followers, I am open to their ideas. And those ideas complement and make me to be the better leader. So I don't do the opposite around. I want to make sure that I want to be successful, so I get the right team of people around me. I'm not an economist. So if I want to be a successful guy, I have to listen to the expertise of the economist. I'm not a graphic designer, but if I want the best graphic design that will show that Youth for Change is the brand, I have to look and listen to the expertise of the graphic design. So that is how a leader should. And what happens at the end of the day, all these things come to you. It is you. So I don't get intimidated, and I listen a lot because the thing is, I'm cognizant, number one, I have limitations. And because I have limitations, I get the right team of people around me who have the expertise. And I listen to them because it's their field. And before you make up your mind, what happens is that all these small achievements makes me to be a better leader. So no, I'm not intimidated by that. And any leader who is not listening or who wants to always hear what they want to hear, that leader is inadequate. it is a leader who is he or she is insecure, and they should not be, and that's not a role of a leader.
Okay, well, folks, I'm in conversation with Sir Alex Favored Devine. Let's pivot here and get to what we are here for, and we're going to talk much deeper here. This is one of the most recent here. Humanitarian Awards Global, most influential change maker. Hashtag Humanitarian Liberia. I funded to you for change, certified consultant. Okay, this is of the Menent Awards certificates I honor. This is the most recent one, right?
Yes, the most recent one.
Talk to me here and the audience how this came about and what sort of value it has added to what you are doing right now.
So, first of all, so last year, I know one of the first prestigious award that I was named and it was conferred upon me was the Youth of the Year, United States Agency for International Development here in Liberia, based on the work that we've done. Also last year conferred upon me as the Youth of the Year, and I was it was glamorous event honored by all these diplomats and stuff like that at the ministerial complex. It was a very glamorous event and something that I
saw those images.
So that, and then after that, then of course the city government, when I planned the icon, which is one of my flagship program under my company, where we discover young people who has amazing talent in music and poetry. So when I planned that program in 2019, the icon ended very well. It was held in Monrovia. The city government here, like in Monrovia, headed by Jefferson Kochi, have seen the work we've done and see the impact it brought to the city. He also had a program in to at least appreciate the contestant that were like finals. And at that program, the city government named me as humanitarian, Monrovia, the city government humanitarian. I conferred that title on me in 2019. So that was the first humanitarian award from the city government of Liberia, was conferred locally. And then last year, then the vice president and I, based on the work again that we've done, I was nominated, vetted well amongst a pool of pretty much 40-some persons from Africa, and I was named as the Youth Empowerment Personality of the Year, which I had opportunity to travel with the vice president in Ghana, which was a great opportunity for me. So we came back again and we continue to do the job. Like I mentioned, that what I do is a calling, is not a job. So these things, this award as it comes, it just inspired me a lot, but it does not turn my head off to say, hey, you know what, I've achieved a lot, but it just, inspired me. So I kept doing what I have to do. The beginning of this year, this organization, Humanitarian Global, follow me on LinkedIn because I'm very active on LinkedIn with my job and the impact of what I do. So they follow me on LinkedIn and also send me official invitation and said that they follow my work, that I am not a nominee. The Humanitarian Global has two components. It has the nomination component and it has the honoree component. So people can nominate people and you get accepted. But in my case, I will be conferred an humanitarian humanitarian global awards. It's going to be conferred based on the work. So I didn't go through the regular vetting process. I didn't go through nomination.
So that one, they have a set standard. They don't have to throw it out there. Okay, you're nominated, this and that. So from all indication, yes, from what I'm hearing, you met the full standards of their stuff, and that's how you were confirmed.
Yes. So they did a background investigation on me. All of those things. The only thing they asked me for was just basically send my profile to them, and I sent my profile to them. And after I think a month or so, and they just told me that in your case you will be conferred an humanitarian global award upon you because of the work you've done. We check you, background check, we see the impact of the work. You are not a nominee in the seminar letter. So so this is more for me. It's more of a motivation, and I see it not basically for me. I see it more of like I want to tie this story around a way that I can inspire a lot of young people and say, keep doing what you're doing. Keep working hard. You know, don't be carried about the likes and comments on social media. Don't be carried about it because you do one pictures here and put on Facebook. Keep just doing the authentic work and keep telling the world of your passion of why you're doing this thing and the authenticity about why you're doing this thing. And one day it will pay off. So that's what this award means to me. And I want to come back to Liberia. I want to be in Ghana. I want to do a narration like I'm doing here now to say, look, the world is watching. I tell people the word has eyes. The word has eyes. The word don't talk, but the word sees. This world we live in don't talk. Like you and I can be talking as human beings. But can see and will reward you when the time is right.
Okay, well, so we're going to take a quick break to give my guests a chance to get a cup of water. I'm in conversations with one of the founders of the country, Republic of Liberia, and not just only Liberia. He represents a good assistant, special calling, Sir Devine. Let's take a quick break and we will be right back. Well, there you see it. I'm a Francis Ian Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. That was that award. This is the most recent one, Humanitarian Awards Global, Most Influential Change Maker, hashtag Humanitarian Liberia. Well, and that's what we told here for us here is we showcase the goodness, not just only people in the elite world, but people from different backgrounds. And that's why we have Liberia Public Radio. Well, tomorrow evening, I'm going to be having this group here, another group of Liberians based here, based in the USA, some in the Ocean State, other places. It's a local-based organization. We are hearing there's a big convention in the makings, and one of the lawmakers will be coming here to address the theme. I'm going to be playing host to them here Wednesday, All Things Considered Special Edition. So right here on LPR. And this is more or less to know about your country, learn your country, read. Don't just pick up news and run with it. Try and get it for yourself. There's a new memoir is available on Amazon. Liberty Hijack, the histories of how the loss of liberty divides Liberia. It's a new memoir written by one of the funniest, legendary journalists, veterans in this business, a former minister of government. So you must know that this book is contain information that you need to know. It is in this book here. And I'm just not just only telling you about it. I have mine already. I'm reading it. I'm going through it. And I soon it's been digested. Because when I bring in this guy here, I gotta be well equipped. Because what I'm learning from this book, things that I'm hearing from this book, I'm wondering what it is about Liberia. Go on Amazon and look for Liberty Hijack. Written, the author is Kai G. Wle. Just type in that name and it's going to pop out. And you read this book here, believe me or not, you will know a lot about your country. All right. If you have issues, just call me here and we can have that conversation. Okay, let me bring in my guests as we continue this conversation. Sir Ellis Favor Devine Jr. is based in Liberia. Recently, another honoree, Humanitarian Award Global, Most Influential Change Maker. I'm gonna. You are at liberty to plead the fifth, just in case if the question, if you don't want to answer it, that's it. We don't put people on the poll here. What you do, and I'll follow you lengthily, and people that you have read, that you are guided, you are provided counsel, they are potential scholars, they are students, other places. But right under your feet, the generation of today, see how it's going, how it's been, how the generation has been polluted. These awards, it happens right before their eyes. It's things that you do. So I'm spinning my hair here. Why, if you have such a person who is willing to go beyond the borderline, and to effect changes to get the young generation change and resources are not provided, then it's troubling. It is troubling. And these people today, people call themselves students, and the kind of life they are living in, chanting, shouting, hanking on these politicians and people calculatively, in my own word, doing what they are doing because they want to keep those people down, to keep them being suppressed, and that way they will be used. So, how is this playing with the work that you are doing?
First of all, I like to say that look, what you just explained about politicians chanting, this is a long-standing cultural problem, and I would just sometimes look on social media. I would listen to people and talk about, oh, the young people are chanting and stuff like that. But it's a deep-rooted cultural problem. First of all, that's how our country was built. It's believed that you have to shout, you have to be provocative, you have to stay on the palabra hot. It comes all the way back from the Boyman family. Go back to all the what his name, Barker Matthew. That's how these people came back then. And the young people see these things. As a matter of fact, Karl Marx says something in one of his writings, scholarly writing. He said, we are human beings who are born as blank sheet. We assimilate things from what we see. We learn from our environment. So our first point of learning he ascribed it to is the parents. And the second is the community. So what is it that the young people have been seeing over time? What is the culture? The culture of reward is then when you curse, when you shout, when you become sycophant, when you become a surrogate. That's how people reward you. That's the culture. And the young people get involved in it, and people are having problems. The culture still persists today. Political parties come, they still take the same culture. Government come, government still take the same culture, still embrace and support the same culture. The system has to change. Someone has to change it. Government needs to come now and start to invest more in entrepreneurship, divert the attention of young people from political to entrepreneurship, to creativity, to innovation. When government starts to invest more money into those areas, the young people energy and innovation will change. And that's how you change the country. We keep talking over here, over now. The young people, what is it? What is it we are doing as a country? The people we have the policy making power. What kind of policy are they instituting that will divert the mind of the young people from this deep-rooted cultural norms that have engulfed our country and keep the young people's mind into one space that politics is the way? So you need to now start diversifying the innovation and say, you know what, when I come, I will put some money in agriculture. Let's encourage young people to go into agriculture. Let's give small grant to allow young people to go into agriculture. I will encourage entrepreneurship. I will encourage a lot of people, young people who are interested into entrepreneurship. I will put money in EcoBank, or will put money in LBDR. And young people who come out with the best proposal on about the best agriculture project, the best this one, and we start awarding. When you start to award different things other than politics, trust me, the energy of the young people energy will divert to those areas. That's how you kill politics. So if we don't do that,
let me get your view. You are the hands-on guy. You're right there. You have everything happening right before your feet. The failures on the part of policies and decision to make to kind of like break through the gap on some of these things that you're talking about. Do you think, are they doing it on purpose, or the purpose reasons of then we can expose the generation to good things? You mentioned about Zakabi. I'm looking for a number. I wish I get his number. All the people that are causing, I would say, you know what, these people, they're wasting your innovations, the time, the resources, the energy, the research for you and your friends. And it's so saddening. I don't know who we are, what we represent, But all ages, they have embraced this culture.
The reality is that when Deborah Malak was here and she was leaving Liberia, she said something. You know, she said she had a long speech, but in that speech there was something she said that was profound, and I thought it was very correct. She said Liberia can miss out on priority. This country can miss out on priority. The thing is always spending money on, they can't spend money on the things. The things they're supposed to be paying attention to, they don't pay attention on that thing. They spend more time talking and doing nothing. Look, let me tell you something. Alfonso, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Go ahead.
Let me tell you something. So when Deborah Malak mentioned that Liberia problem is missed priority, we take money and invest it into something that does not make sense. Why will you have at this time in this country, practically speaking now, the country that is poor, poverty stricken, why will you have any government, beginning with the presidency, to want to ride a car? The president come for ride a car, and it's not unique to Georgia, by the way, all the other presidents. That will cost around 85 or 90,000. Doesn't make logical sense in a stupid country, in the poverty-stricken country. So, if you president now, I say, you know what I mean? I am the president. The priority number one is that I'll ride 40,000 car. All my ministers and y'all ride 10,000, 15,000 car. All the money we can spend. Where deputy minister.
Start of John Bokafoli. If you're a public work minister, you don't need Mercedes. You need to be focusing on our roads and our stuff. That's not the case.
That's the point. So just imagine how much money you will cut off just from waste in it on buying car and invest it into agriculture. Just imagine how much money you will cut down from waste, from trash car that you give ministers. What sense does it make for somebody to get 1,500 trash car for one month? Or $750 trash car for one month? What is he doing? Everybody doing 3 days call here in the country. 3-day call. What are you giving him in $500 trash car for? What are you doing? And so you move from there also. You talk about gas slip. Imagine all of our assistant ministers, directors, and going to the lawmaker. Somebody put in carry a drum of gas. What are they doing? Where are they going? So you see all these things, and then the sector, the priority areas, the hospitals, bad, roads, bad. You have the annual budget that is practically around 65% or thereabout that is spent on recurring expenditure, and you expect that 35% will build your country. Then our we can be baking, what do we have for baking? What do we go in baking? And so, what are we doing about those things? So this thing here is beyond the fact that young people, of course, young people, they want the power that be, they're just making the wrong choices. And so until we get to that point, forget it. We ain't going nowhere, Jenna.
So this, from what I hear, it means it's hampering your work, not only your work, the work of the country as well. Because you is voting time, and then you to do everything possibly you can.
I mean, it has to hamper every sector of our country, because if for any reason Liberia is a signatory, we have to put at least about 25% of our annual budget to education, and Liberia signed to that document. Today we're still struggling around 13 to 15. Ghana has passed, Nigeria has passed that threshold. We're still struggling. So if the sector that I work in, if this country is still struggling to meet even 20%, which we should be meeting 25% of the threshold, what do you expect? You expect me for my work to go anywhere? Because even the government itself, the Ministry of Education, still have a lot of struggle to do all the things they're supposed to do across the country. The schools, to build the library, all that. If the ministry cannot achieve that, we that are doing a component under the Ministry of Education, we don't expect our work will go the way it should go. You know, so it's not only affecting me, it's affecting every sector. And I think we just need as a country to just be much more
directly, whether we are in the country, out of the country, whatever affects the country directly, we are also hit hard, because you have your friends, you have family, you have, I mean, people are there. There's no way that you're going to turn your back. Now, then this makes it a convoluted case where sometimes we want to talk things without inserting politics into this whole thing here, because, my dear brother, these are the people who are decision maker, policy makers, people who are supposed to drive the agenda. The vision is just not there. The vision is not there. It makes
I think for me, what I see, I just think that we need to be. We've done a lot of theory in this country. We've done a lot of theory. I think it's time for Liberia to be much more practical in most of the decisions. And it does not require a lot. Nobody needs to, for instance, if we want to talk about the police, for instance,
you carry on your point here, and let me put myself into this whole thing here. We in the media industry, are we helpful or hurtful to the process as well, in terms of
you're very hurtful to the process. At a certain point in time, last year, every morning I would just get irritated, and I would just be writing posts about the media. First of all, I ascribe that the country is divided because of the media. The media has divided this country because everything about the media is political. One of what they say the primary function of
entertainment.
The primary function of the media. The primary function of the media is to stimulate the discourse. How many discourse do we have in Liberia? Politics. We have the agriculture sector. We have all these sectors. What do you talk about? Every morning in this country, you listen to every radio station. It is politics. And if you don't talk politics, nobody will listen. So the media have accustomed us to politics. So who did that? The media. And the media has the power to redirect that. But the media sees the only way they can survive, they got to talk politics. And the media don't see innovation. They're not able to be innovative or creative enough to change the discourse around. And so everything remains political. And so the country gets tensional because every morning is about politics. And as you're talking politics, it deepens in the skin of people who are attached to political parties. You got brothers and sisters who are living in the same house, but because one media may sit on a radio station and start to denigrate another political party, and the other men too now start, so brothers and sisters go against one another because the media is discussing politics and denigrating one political party, so it affects the home. So the media has not done well. The media has to do well. The election is coming again. The media has to be much more independent. A lot of the media institutions who do politics, who even talk politics, a lot of them are even one-sided. It's just about what they get. It's about what they eat. It's about our stomach. Sorry. It's about belly.
That's it. And guess what? It falls right in the lap of these politicians. To the extent the politician, because, and this is why we always say consistently, thank God, we're doing what we can do. Because that's the strategy of these politicians, to control and to be in possession of the narrative, which of course they are now, because if you listen to these different networks, it's more than the US, it's more than the liberal and the conservatives. You go on the side here, you are not accommodated. Or if even the politicians, if the politician feels that, I don't even know where the Alfonso is standing, his political standing, his tone, his language, his talking point does not in any way align with my political ideology. So if we invite those people to create a proportional conversation, guess what? They are surrogates, they are supporters everywhere, Asia, America, Liberia. Don't go there. That guy, he's going to be destroying you. So politicians now, they are all having their own podcast because they want to preach their soundbite. And our people, the electorate themselves, are cheering them up. What kind of country is that?
I mean, I don't know, but I think that one way we could do, whoever it is, whether it's the president that is currently in power or whoever will come there, I just think that the government in position has the authority to change, to reduce politics, to reduce the political chicanery. And the way to do that is to begin to invest in different sector and encourage different sector, encourage young people or people to pay attention to different sector. The entertainment industry is there. It's a lot of money in the entertainment industry. A lot of young people here got talent into. I just when I started the Icon program in 2019, I saw a lot of talent. Young people who are writing powerful pieces. We have a lot of young people who can obviously become the next Maya Angelou.
Alex Devine, our heritage is being destroyed. The cultural center, which is part of our value as Liberian, as Africans, as a nation, as a people, is being destroyed. Where is Kinija today? Providence Island. Those are places that people should exhibit that is in line with our culture, in line with the things that we believe in.
That's the same thing we're talking about. When you have a ministry of information and you have the culture and tourism there, the government is not paying attention to that. The government is paying attention to the information component.
On a press conference. Endless conferences.
So a country that wants to invest or that prioritizes its culture or that wants to attract investors would now want to think about separating the cultural arm and the tourism arm so that the technicians, are encouraged to go into that sector and run that sector. And the politicians remain with the information component. So it is that sector that we encourage our culture. It is that sector that we encourage innovation, talent to be able to bring a lot of investors. Look, when you follow the return to Ghana, they will make 1.9 million only from visa. Why? Because the tourism sector understood the importance of attracting investors to the country. A lot of people, you have Jay-Z, you have Beyonce, all the people that come into Ghana that year, to the year of the return. You have technicians who understood how to attract investors. They were behind that. They were not politicians. It's not that era. So get the people who are technicians to sit in the tourism department and sit in the cultural department, develop creative ideas that will attract investors to want to come. But which one of the countries that is in the best position to talk about your return, if not Liberia, it's Liberia. But look at ours. So get the right people to do the job. So separate the people, put the politician to the information in, and bring the tourism people and bring the cultural people. They are technicians, and give them responsibility. Vote or politics, get out of that place. If you're a politician, get out. It's not your place. And listen to them and see how much money will come to this country. And see how many young people you will inspire. Got Nigeria, 25% of the annual budget accounts for entertainment. The last time I checked, I was watching on Travis Noah's show. A Davido, it was not the Nigeria president, Davido was on Travis Noah's show. What did he say? He said to Travis Noah, I'm bringing Africa to America. And Travis asked him, what do you mean? He said, it means when I'm coming to perform here at BET Award, I'm bringing the clothes I wear is African clothes. The food that I eat, the people, the chef that I bring behind me, they are all African chefs. My dancer, they are all. That's what I mean. I'm bringing Africa to America. He was on Travis Noah's show. Who you think benefited a lot? Nigeria.
But American go Matari. You not understand what I was talking about.
Yeah. Nigeria, right after travel, where after the video was on it, you have Bona Ball also appear on Travel Noah show. But it was the country image that was being sold over there. Travel Noah show is one of the biggest show in the world. 2 musicians. You think Liberian, if we really put ourselves together and really encourage our sector, you think Liberian musician can cut across? You think our music can go to BET as well? You think our people can go sit over there? And if they go there, they will say a Liberian musician. And that credit comes to Liberia. And investor wants to come to Liberia because one Liberian musician was sitting over there. What does a dividend come? The dividend come to the country. If a Liberian musician sits over there and one investor wants to come to this country and open an entertainment company here, do you know how many Liberians will get a job? You think our politics down there? Yeah, the politicians are not helping their country. Get out. Go sit down to your political area, do your political thing there. Get the technician to do the job.
The electricians
I was saying last time to UC were having that 2021 they're having some kind of conference at the city hall, and the director at the time, who was the head of UC, he said something. He said politics, it is the enemy to development. Politics is the enemy to development. And you just set that example clearly, that if you're supposed to build this road, and this road is supposed to be durable, and the road costs $50 million, and it will take you 3 years to raise the $50 million and build the road. But if you have an intent to do it quickly because of political reason, it has become a that's supposed to be there. Period. And that's what we have in the country. Everybody doing quick impact project just to satisfy that political nonsense ego. And then you wonder why the road spoil after 6 months. Are you crazy? You don't know why it's spoiled? Because that road actually should have been durable, but because you say you don't have the time to wait, you want to do the thing go. So like people can see it, then they vote you again. So you do it go. Then the next government are coming again, they gotta go look for money again to pay another road again. Are we stupid? And you think we're going somewhere? And you think we change? Insanity is doing the work.
We as a people, the nations, the electorates, the citizenry, have we learned a lesson, you think?
We learning some lesson. And I say some lessons because you know, I mean, I don't understand, because
what could be the portion?
We are short-sighted people, and I think that's one thing the politicians tap on. We are very, very short-sighted. We go to forget. So it means that if I suffer for 10, if I suffer for 5 years,
wherever our shadow stop, that's where our thinking stop. We don't go beyond our shadow.
Yes. And poverty has everything to do with that. When I say poverty, it's not poverty only in them that you don't have money, but poverty in your mind, how you think. We are so poor in our head. And so because in our head, it reflects on us. So our poverty in Liberia, it starts first of all in our mind, in our thinking. And it's a reflection of how we act.
And maybe we defeat our own purpose. You know, recently, I was in a leadership conference with my company where the CEO, and it was extraordinary when people when they're talking and they talk about the quality, the kind of leader, the quality thing that constitutes a leader. There were 3 major things that the guy brought, and I was like, wait, the heck talking? Intelligence, technical skills, relationship, and they get people and skill, and they break them down into category type, the recipe or quality, things that are embedded within this sort of leadership. When I look at it, I say, oh my goodness, how many of our people that really they can think? You were talking about Mike Zuckerberg. That's just a guy with his colleagues that just sit and begin to think about innovation and see it has become a $1 billion to multi-million-dollar type energy. But yeah, we are like, bro, man from Grand G there to what? Went to refugee camp now to Moravia and come and see this sort of innovation, and people sit and cost. They think about it. People are being initiated on a daily basis. Men, women, children, old, young, all ages, all ages. So it is a challenge. How can we change this sort of culture? And you talk about a lot of the
I think
culture is so rooted. I don't know what I
it,
would a power saw. We need to get a power saw from Japan or wherever. I don't think the American
no,
power saw.
we don't. It starts first of all. I like to say that Liberian, we are a selfish group of people. It's always about me, myself, and my family. That is who we are. We want to care about ourselves and what needs to be done in this country. We need we need to bridge the gap through mentorship, intentional mentorship program. The few people who are selfless have to begin to transfer their self, duplicate themselves in many. So you will see from what I do, a John Singh would not be an ordinary Liberian. When I met John in 2017 in high school in Bethesda, he was so exuberant. When you hear John Singh talking the whole political thing, oh, they want the other one car master, the other one this, that. It was just that kind of orientation. It took mentorship. It took transformation. You interview John. John's over there. John graduated. He's doing his master now. All the young people who passed through our league, we managed to change their mindset about selflessness, giving back, dedication, don't steal, integrity. We have to go back. Right now, we can't fix from the top. We got to go down to the bottom. That's why you see Youth for Change. Our work is specifically working with all high schools across the country. It's an intentional revolution to make sure. A lot of people have come to me, why you can't do university debate? No. Right now in this country, people who used to say we should do university debate, the very young people who play through the national debate are the ones who are coming in university. So if I don't transform them, make them to probably intellectualize or know how to approach issues differently, when they get out of university, who will be the same people? So
let me ask you this question, because you have devoted a lot of time, energy for the sources and rebuilding the young John is a perfect and many other. Now, Youth for Change, the nomenclature alone and things that you do is visible. You are taking a tour through all the length and political subdivisions of the country. I know there's a ministry called Ministry of Education still in Liberia. Based on what you do, it has some sort of connection, Ministry of Youth and Sport. Are they aware of this Youth for Change organization and the impact that it has made? And if so, how are they supporting this initiative in order to tweet and kind of invest into this here, so that because potentially their peers group, folks like John and other people, people be willing to go out there, and their support that they're going to be providing could make a twist in most of these people's generation. But all we see is that we the student when when I said that, and they mix all of the English language from crown to crew to pele to bandy, and everybody sound that group of people, they are huge, they are in number, and their decision will influence the good ones.
You there?
Yeah, so I'm wondering, how is the Ministry of Youth and Sport, the Ministry of Education, are they sort of supporting this initiative?
So we work directly under the Ministry of Education. So our project is educative. So we work directly on the Ministry of Education. Somehow we have some connection with the Ministry of Youth and Sports because we're dealing with young people. But one of the main institutions that work directly with the Ministry of Education. Over time, what we've argued and what we've made the case, and I think this, because I met the Minister, Mr. Ansu Soni, and he made a commitment that next year they will make sure that we send our budget sooner so they can involve it or absorb it into the national budget to see when they can send it. Because there is a line for extracurricular activities. So once we send it, There are other young people who are doing some issues in extracurricular activity, like spelling bee, like debate, like quizzing and stuff like that. So they will try to create a line item there for extracurricular activity. That is an argument we've pushed over time, and I'm glad it's probably holding and trying to make some sense now to the government through the Ministry of Education. So I'm hoping that next year that will be captured as a line item where we can get subsidy from the government directly. But in the meantime, the Ministry of Education over time, yes, they do chip in, but the extent that they chip in, it can make no impact, because of the intensity of the project is huge. So we're talking about our budget is we're talking about sometimes 85,000, 95,000 to go across the country and conduct. And then you look at the educational system being challenged financially. Even the Ministry of Education is challenged. Imagine that you run a project where you talk about 85,000 or 95,000 thereabout. It's difficult. So even if the ministry gives around 5,000, pretty much it still can do nothing. So the impact is not far-reaching because the budget is huge. So the best way that the impact could be far-reaching is basically to absorb it on the Ministry of Education on the extracurricular activities, and that's something we are pushing. I'm hoping that it can get passed because we had a conversation. Personally, had a conversation with the minister, 2 weeks ago in his office. But what we do normally is we leverage what the Ministry of Education has to reduce the cost. So when we go across the country to conduct a tournament across the country, part of the reason why we have 85,000 and 95,000 is because we have to rent hall across the country. So we say the Ministry of Education, please arrange all of the hall across the country. So the Ministry of Education does that, and so it cut down our budget. This year, like we don't have money, and the ministry itself, the support is given, it can still do nothing. So what we did, because we are bringing 125 students from across the country, and we don't have the money, so we now reached out to Alexander Duopo, the Deputy Minister of Instruction, who all of the CEOs, work directly on it, and wrote him and told him, hey, we need you to instruct the CEOs across the country to bring all of the teams from across the country because they don't have the money to transport them. And all the CEO got cars, they got this Forerunner that they bought for them. So, the CEO has agreed, so they'll be transporting our delegation from across the country to bring them and to take them back. So if you check in the budget, that is another money that cut down. So yes, that is some of the ways we're working with the Ministry of Education. And for the final of the tournament, we want to use the ministerial complex. We don't need to look for money for that. We just need to write the Ministry of Education. The Ministry of Education now will write what they call the GSA, and GSA will give us the ministerial complex. Normally, if we are using our place, we might be spending almost 2,500 to just rent the place. So the ministry is writing on our behalf, it cut down the budget. As per the Ministry of Youth and Sports, because we don't work directly with them, one of the areas that we normally benefit from is when we bring the students, about 125 students, we have to lodge them. We don't have a venue, but the Ministry of Youth and Sport has the MVDC that has a dormitory, on them. So we write them and tell them, hey, can you give us the dormitory for us to use? So since 2017, the Ministry of Youth and Sports has been our partner. They always give us that space for us to use. And this year also, tomorrow, as a matter of fact, I'm going there to conclude with them because the kids should be arriving, the 150 students should be arriving from across the country on the 20th. They should be arriving in Monrovia at the MVDC. So I'm going to finalize that place tomorrow with the Ministry of Youth and Sports. The minister has already agreed. The Deputy Minister, Peter Beamer, has agreed. I just need to go and finalize with the team at the MVDC venue, and then we're good to go. And then we'll do the cleanup campaign on Friday. Next, we'll try to get the gasoline, the small thing we need, so that students can arrive in Monrovia to go through the 3 weeks of Central Tournament, where all these schools that are coming from across the country will be representing their respective county, and to go through the tournament. So yes, that's how we work with these institutions. Since we don't have a budget line for now, that's how we work with them, and they cut down the budget a lot. So yes, that's how they support us for now. But we look forward to a more sustainable partnership in the future, beginning next year.
Wow. Okay. Well, it's better. We will keep having this sort of conversation here. I think it's better that we do this, and this is why we want to be putting in time. There's no way that we can leave these politicians out, because if they make some careless decisions and policy, it ultimately affects the good work on other people, and that's why we always in the habit of doing this. So let's bring you this developing news in our continuations of looking out for potential Liberians, those who are impacting life. I am Alfonso Z, and so I will be right back. Well, I'm Alfonso Ziensot of the Liberia Public Radio and Lpr-Tv. In our quest to look out for Liberians, those involved in multitudes of roles, be it humanitarians or interventions or development initiated in the country. Tomorrow morning, there will be a special edition here. I will be hosting this lady. She is Dr. Stephanie Four, is the board chair Change Agent Network. Change Agent Network involved in multitudes of roles in Liberia, including the constructions of schools across the length and breadth of the country. So I'm going to be hosting her here early tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We're going to go out there for those that are doing extraordinary job, who are making the difference in the life of our people in Liberia and their involvement, and get to know who they are and some of the challenges, and be able to give that talking point here. Dr. Ford is going to be here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on LPR. Let me go bring my man here. Time is gradually taken away. I know it's late, not even getting late in Liberia. So okay, so let's hear from you. What first of all, I want to say a big thank you, because I always, believe me, 247 on your page, because they have things all with resourceful information comes out. And you did mention something about the media, which is 100% correct, and all of us are included. I'm not going to get myself out of that basket of deplorable here this evening, but we'll try to do the best we can. And that has to do with the 2023 three major elections. Oh, this camera right there. Three major elections ahead of us here. And it is the media's responsibility for us to really keep the narrative. You being there, you still, know. And the media, I agree, for the most part, it's no help. That's not a work of the media. They are ethical principles that the media should follow. You're not for the government, you're not against the government. More or less, you're kind of like in the middle to intercede, to inform the citizenry to make informed decisions. But that is not happening. I was listening to our sister, one of our sister network here this evening, and I was like, oh, no, this is not right. They say there was a pool conducted. I didn't hear what constitutes, what are the things, what basis, but 40% go take microphone, 40%, you're voting for the one, yeah, you're voting for the one, yeah. Then you say, oh, when election held today, who you win? You're not helping the process. You're not telling the audience, you're not educating the electorates. You said that in Monrovia and you carry out a poll. In fact, what are the basic questions for which you want to tell the audience on what basis? Why should they even vote for Cummings? Why should they re-elect George Weah? Why Joseph Boyka? Or what are the burning issues that affect the Liberian for which they will even want to change your leadership and what basis? But you just go there and tell people, hey, we voting for we are. They want, yeah, okay, they put a win. I never saw anything like that before. And that is ridiculous for people to do this kind of thing. You're pressing the citizenry because they count on us to bring valuable information with the hope that they will be able to make rational judgment based on the information that we provide. But unfortunately, it is not happening. And I'm afraid in the sense that the electors, because these people take up their valuable time, people in Liberia, different data thing. I was there. Data thing is not an easy thing. Not because they don't have work to do, but they also try to understand what is happening in their society, and it can help to make them to process and make an informed decision. And so when you come on your podcast and you begin to kind of throw this sort of red meat out there and people run with it, It's dangerous for the country. Go in strategic places, even if they're the length and breadth of the country. If you have the resources, that's fine. Well, it's commendable starting, but you want to do it, try to do it right. Why you asking me, who am I going to, I should know, put us some critical questions, strategic questions, that a person will even give a second thought. Yes, I'm voting because of, I'm considering the economy is not going well. Yes, I'm going to be voting because of the healthcare issue. Yes, I'm going to be voting because of X, Y, Z. There are different options. Talk to people. And when you have those questions, at least it broadens the mind of whoever you're going to be interviewed to be able to have made multiple choices in their decision. But you just get an election here today, who are you going to be voting for? I'm voting for the, and then you come back to say, yeah, you will vote because it's this. That's just mischief, and that's part of the problem the media, we in the media, is having today. It seems to be this sort of mainstream type of media system in the West now has been transported in Liberia, and Liberia are heavily involved into it. What can you tell us before we take leave of you here? I know it's late in Liberia here. What we should be concerned with comes 2023, the media, politicians, and whosoever. What is your fear? You are putting time and resources to build a young generation. I don't think you want your effort to go in vain.
Well, I think you know, the framework of the National Elections Commission as an entity, the people who framed that, who thought about it, were very clear about the role of NEC, and they strategically laid them out in order. The first responsibility of NEC is to do civic education, and they place the civic intentionally before they place the voter after. So the media needs to understand that first, that when it comes to elections in this country, there is a civic and before there is a voter. So National Elections Commission got a civic and voter responsibility. And what is the civic component? Civic tells you why you should vote. So the media needs to understand, first of all, their first responsibility is to enhance, is to educate us on our why we should vote. Why? So that's the media rule. We still have issue of civic being rooted out of our school. People still have an issue of even knowing their role, their why they should vote. People will sit down here and say, me and I'm voting. Because our people, when you vote, they said they will still not do nothing for you. Some people will say, I will sit down. Some people will go. There are people who understand the essence of voting. That standing on the land, that thing where you say, me, I'm not going to waste my time to stand on that land. That
just bear with us. The internet system, as you know, in Liberia is challenging. So I assume the signal recovers. We're going to be joining our guests. It's 7:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me move on the screen here and see. Hopefully it can get, you know, we are in the 21st century and we're still having all of these kind of problems. Okay, so again, Dr. Stephen Ford will be my guest tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time right here. We're going to be touching on wide range of issues, her involvement, her network. Okay, I just lose Dr. Stephanie Ford is the board chair, Change Agent Network. She is the chair for Change Agent Network. I believe they are based here in the USA. I'm quite sure they do have some partnership somewhere in Liberia. What I just lose my guest. Hopefully you're going to be joining us here for a closing statement, remark as well before we take leave. It's late. It's 7:49, so pretty going to 12 a.m. in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia. So Dr. Fort will be my guest here tomorrow morning, early bright morning here. We're going to have some real conversation here. Again, don't forget, folks, this memoir is available on Amazon. Let me see this, if you can see it. Yeah, this is it. This memoir, Liberty Hijack. Liberty Hijack is the author is Kai G. Wule. The history of how the laws of liberty divides Liberia. Note about your country. I'm going through this memoir, and it is quite interesting. He really took up time to do a research to put this information together, and it's just not something that to keep reading. Go on Amazon in the search engine, type in Liberty Hijack. So you type in, you're going to see a Liberty Hijack. That's it. Watch this. It's a red back. The author there is Kai G. Wule. You just write the author, you know, that's another way. If at all you try to, if there's any issue, and if you are within my proximity, let me know. We are making arrangement to see if we can have some of the copies as well. The book was officially, it was launched, but there will be some more officials. We are getting information. There are a lot of people calling in, and they want it to be officially launched in other places. So I assume we get from a confirmation date time. We will also bring that here. Well, I just lose my guest, Alice Devine Favor, just went off the line, and I assume I'm just going to give me a few minutes, and I see what we can go there. Until then, let's have a little bit short entertainment here, and I will be right back.
De la commune de Djiblo, soyez unis et indivisibles, ou bien agir dans le sac fait développement dio, et bien pas mais Djiblo d'abord dio, ça est ben sévère pas si beau. Ben Sévérin, tu as attendu ta prière et il t'a exaucé. Bienvenue, monsieur le maire.
Well, that's a beautiful African dance song there from neighboring La Côte d'Ivoire. I know somebody's saying that, but why are the men playing Côte d'Ivoire music for? That you been there? They are our good neighbors, so in the interest of African solidarity, like extend some musical line to them as well, and that's your way of making contribution. By the way, the president was in Côte d'Ivoire yesterday. I'm not sure whether he's still there. All right, those are from La Côte d'Ivoire really getting, and or those who Liberians was staying in Côte d'Ivoire here, they're getting the sense of it. That's how we got to give the sort of reflection to people, or people passing different countries. They were refugees, and to get them to be where sometimes we got to give that reflections. Well, time has caught up with us here this evening is 7:53 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm Alfonso Zain, so that's how we're going to be drawing the curtain. But if for any reasons, wherever you are, you're having a function and you want to give it some coverage, graduation, convention, baby shower, wedding shower, any kind of thing that gets shower and whatever coverage, just to have that sort of memorable time, it doesn't matter. You can be any part as long as you have access to internet. There is a way we have the capability to connect with you and give you that visual representation there for other family members and other people to know. So let's take this break and get a sample of what we do.
You've worked for months to bring your or your client's event to life, But unfortunately, the world had another plan. In reality, the only thing you lost is the venue. We take your vision for hosting a virtual conference and bring it to life online. No matter how complex your agenda is, we produce a smooth, engaging experience. Call the Liberia Public Radio today and schedule your event. Our number is 682-433-8802. If you prefer to submit your request via email, please send the request to liberiapublicradio2012@gmail.com. Our staff are standing by waiting for your phone call.
There you have it. That's exactly what we do, that's what we represent. So we try to do the best we can. Well, every good thing must come to an end. Is 7:55 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to thank all of you, viewers, listeners, wherever you are, inside Liberia, outside of Liberia, on planet Earth. We want to thank you so much for your time, your comments, your tweets, your suggestions is always welcome on this network. Usually, it's 100%. We always go back to the field to take a review of your comments and some of the beautiful suggestions. You are at liberty to disagree with us. The only thing we don't condone on this network here that we don't have time, because enough is already out there to call somebody man, to call somebody pa. It is uncivilized. That's not a rule of engagement. It does not in any way bring comfort or good conversation to the disco. But you are at liberty to call me opposition, seditions, or whatever you want. You are at liberty to disagree with me. But it must be done in a civil context by bringing in your points, making your views, your opinion heard, and we can have a conversation about it. And that's what I think all of us, if we really mean well for our country, let's take out these political governments, because these governments are not doing or no good. It branding you, but you still have it on. You will keep it on until everything finished. Then when time comes tomorrow, we wouldn't put it on. And those who didn't wear it, you will come back to come join. Or, oh, I didn't know. I thought you were going to be there. Because you didn't ask all of the questions you're supposed to ask. You are so much in dining of his political philosophy. So you didn't care to ask anything. You agree, nothing is already in stone, nothing can change it. But if all of us, even those that have already made their decision and say, wait a minute, what am I supporting this party? Is this party believes in a country called Liberia? What is the visions of this party? The executive, have they explained enough that I should be convinced that yes, I can talk to my sister, my aunt, or some friend to say, vote for them because this is the value. This is their political ideology. Where is it? Everything is in abstract. Politicians are now engaged in using students to do their dirty work simply because they want to be a white-collar politician. They don't want to go to jail. They don't want to do anything. And they just think they want to get away with a lot of stuff. A change is not easy. No pain, no gain. And that's why Mama Gaddafi says, revolutions without bloodshed is not a revolution. I am not saying go and share blood, but I'm saying stand for what you believe. Stand for it. If it will cause you to go behind the iron bar, I'm not talking about cutting deals, these fake stuff they're doing here. Throwing unnecessary tension because they want to seek public attention, or simply they are doing that to build their political resume. So tomorrow they will have somewhere to point their two fingers. I went to jail. So because you go to jail, you should be president, you should be senator. Oh, hell no. That's not going to work. That's not what's going to happen. We are waiting. The gloves will come out. The purple, the red, the blue. When Taylor was leaving, he said the red cow, the black cow, and the what? And the brown cow. The cow went by, God willing. It's still there. So those who think they are building their political resume at the expense of ignorant Liberians, and you think you're just going to use swear, sly way to get through the doors, you're going to bother with the iron gate, because we will empty all. We will discuss it at a appropriate time. Because Liberia for so long has been mistreated and people think the country is a dumb sight. I never heard Nelson Mandela to complain. He was in, because I was in jail for 29 years, so I'm going to be president for 29 years in South Africa. He went there one term. I'm wondering if it was a Liberian man. He or she will stay there for the life of the law. The advocates, you don't even know who is the advocate from the politicians. Everybody in wearing the same black, blue, red garment because they are looking for some sort of political elevation that they can stand on today and become a concrete evidence to fight for. You remember, I did this, I went to jail, the government ran behind me, everybody ran behind me, I'll talk for you. Nobody talk for me, my mouth is wide enough, and I'm not going to allow anybody to talk for me. They can talk for you. That's cool with me. I can talk for myself. I know the right from wrong. Too old to be fooled, to be misled, and just thrown into something that tomorrow I'm going to have a second thought. This is not what we are doing. We all get this country. These parties, why these political parties, why they can't survive? Why can't you ask yourself questions, some of these critical questions? Yes, I'm a sedition. Yes, I'm a ANC. Yes, I'm a unity party. But where is the institutional structure that this, what is the history of these parties? What is the history? It's all about the guy that is up there. No vision, no short-term, no long-term goal. So when the top man move, then everything crumble. This is why you don't see NDP. Yeah, the National Democratic Party, when Dr. Doe was president, there was no second thought that this must be an institution, that one of these days I will fade away from the public stage, but this institution must survive. So I need to start raising to the party. It is time for the party to raise a new generation. You here, for those of us, and you in the West here, especially in the US and other civilized countries, every other election season, you will always hear say a rising star, a rising star. There was a one instance capitalized by then Illinois Senator to Barack Obama when he took the stage at a Democratic National Conventions, and that was the intervention. It was the game changer, and they began to see the other side of him, of his leadership scar, how eloquent and his ability to articulate and be able to do something and change the narrative. They get all kinds of micromanaged ready convention. Unity Party had a convention the other day. I watched it, Sister Network. They said time to come. They said the media, where when they were going in, they were happy. All the cell phone, iPad, IEA, nose, everything was flashing. But when time to count ballot, they say they should go. They don't want no media. Is that a society breach? And then you are seeking for democratic principles. You say you have rules within yourself that satisfied maybe very few within the party. I'm not sure what I met the consensus of those in the party. What happens come general presidential election, time for senatorial count or presidential count, and then the NEC said, no, we don't want no media people here. We will finish counting, we'll let you know. You agree? And then you have stupid people. You say you're not stupid, but some people are stupid. And then they say, yes, it's part of the party rule. We don't, that the media people say, that now you know the media can cause problems. You guys are the cause of these young alligators being raised. Your feed them, you give them good food, and then when they grow and they begin to bite you, then you turn around, you want to cry wolf because you raise alligator unknown to yourself. If you are behaving doing that, what is the message sent to those who are the presiders or who oversee general elections and even the ruling establishment? Does it make sense? What is the backup plan for CDC after George Weah, President Weah, as a claim 12 years? Yeah, 12 years can come and go. So who's going to be the next phase? Who is the next face for Unity Party? Joseph Boyka. Or who do they have behind the screen that we do not know now? Both. Anything can happen. We're in a volatile situation. So the war is evolving. So whether you like it or not, I am not making proclamations on any event for anything to happen. They have the right to contest. But this is how we don't prevent, we manage crisis, and we do not even know how to manage it well. ANC, because Alexander Kume said on this network, my last interview with him, he said that if he doesn't win, that's the end of his political career. He want to be focusing on his foundation. So who is now in the closet with ANC? If for any reason Kume say, you know what, enough is enough, I'm washing my hand, then you will see them start scrambling, fighting who to be there, because there's no preparation. And that's what we saw happening, and that's where other people were told to stay on. We need to start knowing who their economic, domestic, foreign policy advisors are. Nothing. They have these little chihuahua all over the place making noise and cursing and doing all kinds of things. They do not even have the guts to control them. Yes, he asked and he said, yeah, it's too soon because they're working, they do this. Look, come on. You can't be in 2, 3, 10 places at the same time. You want to be door, be door. You want to be cat, be cat. You can't be dog cat. There's no trust, because they are unbalanced, unstable. One forward Unity Party, another hand over the cloud of darkness with CDC, another foot under the cloud, I don't know, CPP or WPP to stay alive, or with the other faction, so that tomorrow when things turned, they will go. But they are unable to fix what is happening within the system. All of them, if not all, 99% of them, from one party to this party, from this party to this party, from this party to this party. What did you do in that party for which you were saying horror that you can tell us? But then when you come, then you create a big dossier giving justification. Meanwhile, they have left more than 3, 4 parties. And we saw that. And more going to come. Politics full of surprises. But beware what is ahead. That's why most of them, they don't like to come here. And they have all right. We don't force people. We reach out to them. We have their numbers. Come here, let's have a conversation. But guess what? For those of you who knows this TV show that used to be on Lpr-Tv, Shaman Brown, yes or no, they want us to draw out 10, 15 question things that they will want to answer. I'm not giving mock exam. Where their platforms, this part, what they represent, where can we even find their manifesto? Very few people. Yeah, fair enough to give you the agenda of the conversation, be it economy, be it national security, domestic, whatever it is, fair to mention. But for me, to draw out question 1, where your name? Question 2, why you want to be there? Those oatmeal questions are not part of LPR. You can go wherever you want to go and have a conversation, but that will not in any way deter us to have this conversation. And before I sign up, our correspondent in Abidjan was at the scene yesterday when the president did arrive. He is fully accredited by the Ivorian government as a reporter. He's a journalist, and he carries his ID card, and so he was given access. He was literally at the tarmac when the president touched down. But from what we're hearing, for some of our Liberians and even delegates, the way it was handled is bad. It's ugly. They need to do better. To ask Smith Toby, you are deputy presidential press secretary, and you're telling people you don't know the itinerary of the president, so you're just there to show cell phone telling people for the president to arrive, but you do not know or you do not have asset, or is say another neglect of your responsibility that generally face you, that if it is possible to get a word from the president and you as a deputy press secretary, you do not know the itinerary of the president, what makes you the deputy press secretary? I never saw Gaswa Yemento, Patrick Comey, and other those folks. So you need to start doing live. You need to start taking notes so that when you even face, he's a Liberian journalist, so maybe that's why he was treated the way he was treated. If you did that to a Westerner, they will beat you up and you might lose your job. To ask you that you do not know the itinerary of the president. In fact, the president is going to be having a meeting, but it's going to be a private meeting, so he should go. If he's going there, he's not going as a journalist. That is ridiculous. It is absurd. Insult to civilization. You need to get people to help you. The same way the opposition, or everybody. The opposition, they're not in power today. That's what we're having. But when they get there, seeing what we're seeing, what is unfolding right now, hell going to break loose. They're going to put out a dictatorial government as well, because they have their folks also behaving, doing things at the same way. And none of these leaders have the guts. They can't stand up to them because they are afraid they might politically destroy them. If you can't contain them now, what is the justification that you can contain them when they get state power tomorrow? It's 8:10. It's time to go. Tomorrow morning, join me right here at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time in another conversation. I want to thank you so much for your time, for your energy this evening here. Yeah, River says pro, man. This thing here now. I think myself I need to go wrong to be president. And you never know. I will carry out a GoFund drive. Okay, well, folks, have a pleasant evening by God's willing. So let's continue praying. The strategy of these people is to keep us down, for us to get tired. We're not going to get tired. If the hair is hurting, thank God, Tylenol, ibuprofen, painkillers, they are all around here. We will continue to have this sort of conversation. We will not give up. We will not be judgmental in our decisions, in our talking point. We give them the freedom. We give them the ability. We extend invitation to them to come here. But if they don't come, there's nothing else we can do. Our job is to extend them that invitation. Come, let's have a conversation. Come, let's hear your visions for our country. Until then, the old man on the wall say, it's time for me to go. I want to thank you so much for your time, for your efforts, your conversations, your tweets, your comments. It's extraordinary into these conversations. It is because of you that we always have the courage, even if we are tired. If the fatigue is still there, something that prop up, because you rely and to look up to us to bring news, information, and we must be honest in doing that. Until then, have a pleasant Monday, evening, afternoon, morning. I am Alfonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio. Thank you.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Love is all we need to make you see. This is the time to come together. Keep Liberia safe forever. So open up your heart, let the unity begin.